In today's episode, we're about to cross the veil into Southeast Asia's most cursed corners. Places where the past isn't dead and the spirits aren't resting. From the ghostly echoes of wartime hospitals to forests filled with ancient curses, these are the 10 places you should never, ever visit alone. So dim your lights and brace yourself for the stories that might just follow you home. Number 1. Penang War Museum. Our descent into darkness begins on a hill in Penang, Malaysia. Here, nestled in the jungle, you'll find the Penang War Museum. At first glance, it looks like any other historical site, a sprawling 20-acre concrete fortress built by the British in the 1930s to defend the island. But this place has earned a chilling local nickname, Bukit Hantu, or Ghost Hill. When World War II tore through the region, the fort fell to the Japanese army. It was then that this place of defense became a place of death. The fort was transformed into a prison camp where torments and executions were said to be daily occurrences. The most terrifying legend told within these walls is that of a sadistic Japanese officer named Tadashi Suzuki. It's said he would bring an end to the life of prisoners with his samurai sword. While historical records of this specific officer are debated and some accounts place him elsewhere, the stories have seeped into the very foundations of the fort. Today, visitors and paranormal investigators report an overwhelming sense of dread. Shadowy figures are seen darting through the dark, oppressive tunnels that run 9 meters underground. Disembodied screams echo from the empty barracks, and some have even claimed to see the full-bodied apparition of Tadashi Suzuki himself, still patrolling the grounds at night, forever trapped in his cycle of cruelty. Number 2. Lawang Sewu. Our next stop takes us to Semarang, Indonesia, and a building of stunning colonial beauty. Its name is Lawang Sewu, which in Javanese means 1,000 doors, a nod to its seemingly endless series of arches and windows that line its grand facade. Built by the Dutch as the headquarters for their railway company, its graceful architecture hides a history of profound suffering. The turn towards terror came, as it so often does, with the Japanese occupation during World War II. The invaders seized the building, converting its dark labyrinthine basement into a brutal prison. Down in the gloom, prisoners were interrogated, tormented, and executed. The stories that have emerged from that time are horrific. Many believe the headless spirits of those unalived in the basement still wander the corridors, searching for justice, or perhaps just their own heads. The air is said to grow heavy and cold as you descend the stairs, as if the sorrow of the past is a physical weight. But the headless spectres aren't the only entities here. Lawang Sewu is famously haunted by a kuntilanak, the vengeful spirit of a woman who died in childbirth. This ghost is one of the most feared in Southeast Asian folklore, and her presence at Lawang Sewu has cemented its reputation as one of the most haunted places in all of Indonesia. So potent are the stories that the building was the subject of a popular Indonesian horror film, forever associating its 1,000 doors with the spirits that refuse to leave. In the early 2000s, an Indonesian reality TV show allegedly managed to capture a shadowy figure on camera. Here's the footage found online on YouTube. Viewer discretion is advised.
Mas Allah, Mas tolong Mas, Mas, Allahu Akbar Allah.
Number 3. Sathorn Unique Tower. Rising 607 feet over the bustling streets of Bangkok is a 49-story skyscraper that looks like a skeletal corpse against the skyline. This is the Sathorn Unique Tower, known to locals simply as the Ghost Tower. It was designed to be a complex of luxury condominiums, a shining beacon of Thailand's booming economy in the 1990s. But construction was abruptly halted during the 1997 Asian financial crisis, when it was already about 80% complete. It has stood empty and decaying ever since. So why is it considered haunted? That depends on who you ask. Some believe the land it was built on was once a graveyard, and the construction disturbed the spirits who were resting there. Others point to a more spiritual transgression. The tower's long shadow falls over the nearby Wat Yan Nawa temple, an act considered deeply inauspicious and disrespectful. Many investors, realizing their finances vanished, decided to end their lives from the top of the building. Whatever the cause, locals have long avoided the building, with many stories of strange lights and eerie sounds coming from its empty floors. The tower's dark reputation was cemented in December of 2014, when the body of a Swedish tourist was found on the 43rd floor. His demise was ruled as self-deletion, but the discovery sent a chill through the city and confirmed for many that the tower was a place of profound despair. Now sealed off, urban explorers who once bribed their way inside reported a palpable sense of sorrow and the feeling of being watched from the thousands of dark, empty windows. Number 4. Khoi Ung Ek Genocidal Center. There are some places where the weight of history is so immense, it feels as if the air itself is saturated with grief. Khoi Ek, located just outside Phnom Penh, is one such place. It was once a peaceful orchard and Chinese graveyard, but between 1975 and 1979, under the brutal Khmer Rouge regime led by Pol Pot, it was transformed into one of the infamous killing fields. It is here that the Khmer Rouge executed an estimated 17,000 people, often transported from the notorious S-21 prison. To save bullets, executioners used farm tools, iron bars, and sharpened bamboo. The remains of over 8,800 people were later exhumed from mass graves found on the site. Many graves were left untouched and remain silent mounds in the earth. The most haunting feature is the memorial stupa, a towering Buddhist monument filled with more than 5,000 human skulls, arranged by age and sex. Many of them bear the visible cracks and holes from the instruments that ended their lives. It is said that on quiet, rainy nights, you can still hear the cries of the tormented souls who perished here, their spirits forever bound to the soil that became their grave. Number 5. Teachers' Camp. In the cool, pine-scented mountains of Baguio City in the Philippines lies a place that, on the surface, appears peaceful and idyllic. The Baguio Teachers' Camp is a sprawling 23-hectare complex of cottages and halls set amidst lush woods. It was established on April 6, 1908, as a training and vacation center for the first American teachers to arrive in the country, who were known as the Thomasites. For over a century, it has been a place of learning and retreat, but behind the quaint, colonial-era facade lies a reputation for intense paranormal activity, earning it the title of one of the most haunted places in the Philippines. During World War II, the occupying Japanese forces used the camp as a hospital. Some buildings were later destroyed by American bombing campaigns targeting the retreating Japanese. Some believe this violent history stirred something in the ground, while others whisper of even older tragedies. The stories told by generations of teachers, students, and caretakers are remarkably consistent. Many report seeing a ghostly woman dressed in white who appears and disappears along the quiet pathways, her face obscured by sorrow. She is often seen weeping, though no one knows the cause of her eternal grief. An even more terrifying apparition is that of a headless priest, believed to have been executed by Japanese soldiers. He is seen walking solemnly through the halls, his phantom footsteps echoing in the dead of night. Visitors staying in the cottages often speak of the unnerving sensation of being watched, of hearing whispers from empty rooms, and of doors that lock and unlock on their own. Number 6. Ho Tui Tien. Imagine a water park, but instead of screams of joy, there is only an unnerving silence. This is Ho Tui Tien, an abandoned water park hidden in the jungles outside Hue, Vietnam. The park reportedly opened in the early 2000s. A multi-million-dollar project with slides, pools, and a massive 3-story dragon sculpture rising majestically from the center of a lake. But just a few years after opening, it was mysteriously shut down and left to decay. Today, nature is reclaiming it. The once vibrant water slides are now covered in moss and grime, disappearing into the overgrown foliage. The water in the pools is a murky, stagnant green. But it's the dragon that remains the park's haunting centerpiece. You can climb inside its cavernous, graffiti-covered belly and ascend a set of stairs to its mouth, which serves as a viewing platform. From there, you can look out over the silent, eerie landscape of a dream that has rotted into a nightmare. There are no overt ghost stories of specific apparitions here. Urban explorers who venture here speak of a heavy, oppressive atmosphere and the constant, unnerving feeling of being watched from the trees. The reason for its failure remains a mystery, a void that local superstition has filled with whispers of bad investments, poor luck, and a curse that doomed the park from the start. It's a surreal, post-apocalyptic playground where the only thing playing now is your own fear. Number 7. Bokor Hill Station. Perched over 3,400 feet high in the misty mountains of Priamonivong National Park is a ghost town that was once the playground of the French elite. This is Bokor Hill Station, a collection of colonial buildings constructed in the early 1920s as a luxury mountain resort where French colonists could escape the oppressive heat of Phnom Penh. Its centerpiece was the Grand Bokor Palace Hotel and Casino, a place of glamour and indulgence, but its very creation was soaked in tragedy. The resort was built by indentured Cambodian labourers, and legend says that nearly 1,000 of them perished during its construction from disease and exhaustion. This dark beginning set the stage for a century of sorrow. The station was abandoned first during the Indochina War in the 1940s, and then again in 1972, when it was taken over by the Khmer Rouge, becoming one of their last strongholds. Visitors to the crumbling, moss-covered ruins report a profound sense of melancholy. The walls of the old casino are stained with red lichen that looks disturbingly like bloodstains. People hear ghostly laughter and the clinking of glasses from the empty casino floor and phantom footsteps echoing down the deserted hallways of the hotel. Some have seen apparitions staring out from the windows before vanishing. The locals have a simple saying about this place. The ghosts there are many, and standing amidst the fog-shrouded ruins, you have no reason to doubt them. Number 8. Istana Woodnook. Hidden within a dense patch of jungle near the Singapore Botanic Gardens lies the decaying ruin of a forgotten palace. This is Istana Woodnook, a once grand mansion built in the late 19th century and later owned by the royal family of Johor. With its iconic blue roof tiles, now mostly shattered and gone, it was a home of stunning beauty. But today, It is a ruin, off limits to the public and slowly being swallowed by the jungle. The palace's dark chapter began during World War II. In 1939, the Sultan loaned part of the surrounding estate to the British military. Istana Woodnook itself was converted to serve as a military headquarters. During the fierce Battle of Singapore in 1942, the entire estate became a target for Japanese bombers. Accounts from the time suggest the area, which included a military hospital, suffered immense casualties. After the war, the mansion was eventually abandoned and fell into ruin, its fate sealed by a devastating fire in 2006 that destroyed what was left of its roof. Today, it is a shell, its crumbling walls covered in graffiti and its grand rooms filled with debris. Trespassers who venture onto the forbidden grounds report seeing shadowy figures flitting between the trees, hearing disembodied whispers, and feeling an overwhelming sense of being unwelcome. The palace inspired the fictional young family home in the book Crazy Rich Asians, but the reality of Istana Woodnook is far more tragic than glamorous. Number 9. Trunnion Village. On the remote eastern shore of Lake Batur in Bali is the ancient village of Trunnion. This village is home to the Bali Aga, the island's indigenous people who predate the Hindu Majapahit migration. And they have a funeral tradition that is utterly unique and unsettling to outsiders. Here, the dead are not buried or cremated. They are laid to rest in the open air. After an intricate ritual, the bodies of the deceased are carried by boat to a special cemetery, accessible only from the lake. There, they are placed inside triangular bamboo cages, called angkak saji, to protect them from animals, and simply left there. What should be an overwhelming stench is, remarkably, absent. The locals believe this is thanks to a massive ancient tree that grows in the cemetery, the Taru Menyan, which means nice-smelling tree. Its magical fragrance, they say, neutralizes any foul odor, creating a surreal and strangely peaceful atmosphere. But not everyone is granted this unique burial. The rite is reserved for married adults who died of natural causes. If an unmarried person, a child, or someone who died from an accident passes away, they are buried in a separate graveyard. The cemetery is an astonishing sight, with skulls and bones arranged on stone altars. For visitors, the horror is not one of ghosts, but of a direct, unflinching confrontation with mortality. Number 10. Mae Nak Shrine. Our final story is not just of a place, but of a person, or rather, the ghost of a person from one of Thailand's most famous and terrifying folktales. Her name is Mae Nak, and her shrine can be found at Wat Mahabut, a temple in Bangkok. The legend is said to date back to the 19th century. Mae Nak was a beautiful young woman living happily with her husband Mak by the Phra Kanong Canal. Their love story turned to tragedy when Mak was conscripted into the army and sent to war. While he was away, a pregnant Mae Nak went into labour and died, along with her unborn child. But her love for her husband was so strong, it refused to let her pass on. When Mak returned from the war, he found his loving wife and their new baby waiting for him. Completely unaware that they were now ghosts, he lived with them happily until one day he saw Mae Nak stretch her arm to an impossible length to pick up a dropped lime. Realizing the horrifying truth, Mak fled in terror to the grounds of Wat Mahabut, knowing that a ghost cannot enter a holy temple. Enraged and heartbroken, Mae Nak's spirit terrorized the local villagers until a powerful monk managed to subdue her, trapping her spirit in a bottle and throwing into the canal. Her story has been told in countless films, and her powers remain very real to many Thai people. Today, her shrine is a place of active worship, Women pray to her for an easy childbirth, and men pray to avoid being drafted into the military. They leave offerings of dresses, cosmetics, and toys, all to appease the spirit of a woman whose undying love became an undying curse. These are my choices of 10 places in Southeast Asia you should never visit alone. Would you ever dare to visit them? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.